Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, God of Aerobics, and today I want to talk about the alleged fall off of Sparking Zero. A lot of people have been saying that this game has been falling off, and 90% of the players dropped. But there's a lot of nuance to this that a lot of people are not looking at, and that is what we are here to discuss today. So, if you like this kind of content, please like the video, subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell so you can be notified to all future uploads. I'm trying to hit 500 by the end of the year, so please, if you could, help me out. Without further ado, let's get started. So, in case you didn't know, there have been a ton of articles going out saying that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has been tanking, basically saying that the game is down 90% of players, and there are a lot of different reasons for this. But first, I want to go ahead and say the game is not down 90% players. The game is down 90% players on Steam, which is completely different from the entire gaming base, because a lot of people on Steam, I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of games have shown me this. A lot of people that play on PC are very sensitive. I don't know what it is about you guys when it comes to your video games, whether it's fighting games, shooters, or whatever, but when you guys want something changed or you have a problem with something, instead of finding a way to adapt and find a way around it, you just complain online until the devs decide that it's a problem big enough to change. And it's because PC players seem to have a bigger voice in the market than most other players, and because of this, there was a lot of complaining about Yajirobe, and he got changed. And there's a lot of visual hints to show that there was an issue. The tournament where a lot of games lasted 40 minutes to an hour because people kept popping senzu beans, and him being the only 2 DP cost character that started off with 3 bars of health and had 2 skill counts off the bat, pretty much became a real problem in the game. So all they did was take away those 2 skill counts to kind of blend him in with the other 2 count characters, and then they increased Senju Bean to cost 6. And for some reason, people thought this made him unplayable, as if his entire gameplay is just pop Senju Bean, and that there's not actual combos and shit that you can pull off with him, specials you can pull off, and like he doesn't have a whole nother fucking skill to utilize. So basically, people were just crying and bitching that they couldn't spam Senju Bean, and to them that made the game unplayable, as if cheesing people with just stalling and using Senju Bean is the only way to play the fucking game. Completely crazy to me, because I ended up playing a tournament not too long ago where all my characters are randomized, and Yajirobe was on the team, and the few games that I actually played with him, this is after the fixes, he's 100% playable. Maybe that's just me because I like to actually fight in fighting games, but hey, it is what it is. You guys like to get cheap wins to get higher in tournaments, or use cheap wins to gain elo in your games to rank up. So do what you do. There are also a bunch of other issues in the game that were not fixed in the first patch, and I guess people got tired of it, and then there's other things like vanishing that turn into a big issue, where people just, as long as you know the timing for the vanishing, you have enough ki, it just turns into a vanish war, and whoever has the least amount of ki will lose. And then on top of that, there's people who just learned how to super counter. That was never an issue for me, because super countering is hard as fuck to do. So if you can super counter and you can do it consistently, hey, kudos. But I guess it's a big issue. But to be fair, if everybody gets really good at super counting, everybody learns the timing for vanishes, that's pretty much just going to be what every match turns out to be, just a bunch of vanishes and super counters, which at the end of the day is kind of annoying, because now you don't get people actually playing the game and using combos. You just get people utilizing these 2 defensive mechanics and literally nothing else. Yeah, and that is in a sense kind of problematic, and that's why a lot of players on PC did leave. But those players leaving is not making the entire game suffer. The game is not down, again, 90% players, is down 90% players on Steam. So let's go ahead and look at the statistics for the game in general. I went ahead to activeplayer.io and just looked at the current logs of what the game is looking like and what it's looked like for the past month across all platforms: PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So if you look here, there are quick stats, and then there's also Twitch stats. So the quick stats for online players about an hour ago, 141,000, which is not necessarily the best, but it's not necessarily the worst. Still good numbers across all platforms. You're still going to be able to pull off tournaments. You're still going to be able to get into online matches, both player matches and ranked matches, whether that be DP or singles. And then the entire month was 552K. only dropping off about 8,000 players across all platforms. That is not just PC, but that includes Xbox and PlayStation. As you can see, that is not 90%. As a matter of fact, that's just roughly 2% of all players that have played the game. So honestly, this game is not dead. It's just that we have a lot of people basically crying and whining that things are not going their way. As you see here, the monthly average is about 560K with players coming in and out and, new people joining in. And the daily average is about 158K. So the game really isn't dead. It's just that we have a lot of players that, bitch and complain about things not going their way. And I know a lot of people are just going to try to say that it's not them bitching and complaining, that these are genuine issues with the game that needed to be fixed, or the Yajirobe thing didn't need to be fixed. And a lot of people really drag it and say, oh, well, if you're going to change Yajirobe, are you going to take after image from Vegito, or are you going to take wild sense off of Gogeta, are you going to make these characters weaker? No, because again, the game is not supposed to be balanced. The game is supposed to be balanced by character, which means that they are more or less making it lore accurate, with characters being like Whis, Beerus, the fusions being like the stronger characters, while characters like Videl, Yajirobe, Hercule being the weaker characters. And that's just how it always has been. That's how it always will be. As a matter of fact, if you want a genuine tier list of the game, just go to DP battle and then sort your characters by DP, and that is literally your tier list for the game. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. They made the game balanced by character and by lore. In a sense, they did not make the game balanced as a fighting game where all characters have enough abilities to compete with everybody else on the same level. That's just never been that way. We see the same kind of complaining and bitching happen in the past. Perfect example, Overwatch, especially perfect timing with Overwatch Classic coming back. Originally, when the game was 6v6, we had all sorts of things like McCree using a flashbang, Reaper using his ult, or gaining health back from picking up the souls and whatnot, Torbjorn giving out shield, Bastion existing, and Mercy being able to res 5 players instantly. Okay, when were you guys planning to change your battle tactics to adjust to these things? Instead of adjusting, you guys just bitch and complain and cry until things get fixed, or until things get changed in your favor. And that's not how it should work. These characters have abilities and they have toolkits and utilities that they fit, and we're using those abilities the way they should be used, but you guys just don't want to adjust. Like, for example, Reaper jumps in, pops his ult, kills 5 out of 6 players. First of all, Reaper, you're a flank. The fact that you got behind the team to do this in the first place shows how good you are at that. So let me ask you this. Reaper mains back in OG Overwatch. Why didn't you go find Mercy? You saw 5 players, no Mercy, and you decided to jump in and use your ult, knowing that there's a side room, or knowing that there might be a hiding spot or a corner somewhere. And you just jump in, use your ult, then when Mercy rests the whole team and you get jumped, you just complain and bitch about it and go into online forums and get it changed over time just by complaining and making other people complain about it, saying it as a big problem. Why? Just go find the Mercy. And I know this as a Genji main myself, back when the game was good. I would just hit those flank routes and find ways around and go find the Mercies and then kill them. And then my teammates could jump in and kill, or then I would pop my ult and attack the enemies from behind. But you guys just complain about shit because you don't like the way it works, instead of just actually finding ways to adapt or play your characters a little bit better. And I know this is going to happen again. This is going to happen again on a regular basis with this game. It's going to happen with every future game. 2x KO is coming out at some point. You guys are going to complain and get that changed. Marvel Rivals is coming out. You guys are going to complain and get that changed. But just adapt. Just adapt. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Just use your brain a little bit. But at this point, I'm just ranting. So it is what it is. The game's not dead. It's just an anime fighting game. And, with fighting games, whether they're arena fighters or just fighting games in general, people play it. They have their fun. People find out how to cheese. Their cheese gets adapted to, or it doesn't. And then the next fighting game comes out in a month or two, and people bandwagon and hop on that. The real ones stay for the game that they love, while everybody else moves on to the next big project. But that's pretty much going to do it for me. Please like the video, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell so you can be updated with all future uploads. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.